All right, what is up, tycoons? What's up, traders? Super excited for today's video. We're going to give you guys a breakdown on one of my favorite stocks, which is SoFi. All right, now SoFi is up massively today, over 7%. I did close some call option positions. Those were well above 75%. I was able to close those out for about 80% after just getting in SoFi here shortly. We're going to break down the 4-hour chart time frame. Okay, we're also going to go over the weekly chart setup that we have. If you look right here, we have a chart pattern known as an ascending triangle. So we'll go over some of the possibilities if we do get a bullish breakout of the ascending triangle, as well as if we break this trend line, where SoFi could possibly go. It has earnings coming up very, very soon. So that's going to be a very big factor in SoFi and the price action, and really just determining if it goes upwards or downwards. Then we're also going to go over the macro chart. Now, I created this chart back in 2021, and it's really just been sticking out very, very well and very, very nicely. So I'm going to give you guys, some of the short-term price action and really go over what I'm seeing there, and then also go over this macro chart so you guys kind of have my understanding on what I think SoFi is, from a technical analysis standpoint and where it could possibly go. All right, but before we do that, the content provided in this YouTube channel is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. Myself and any individuals that appear in this YouTube channel are not registered financial advisors or brokers. Trading in stocks, bonds, commodities, and crypto involve a significant risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. So be sure to read through the full disclaimer. We're going to go ahead and start off here on the 4-hour chart time frame, and what we have are our major retracement levels here. As you can see, we came up to the 50% retracement level here of $6.20, and we started to find some resistance. We are pulling back now. What we want to see is, are we going to be able to flip $5.94, a prior resistance level, to support? You can see here throughout this large period of time that each time we did get breakout past it, buyers were not able to flip it to support. It came up to resistance again here. We broke out past it. Buyers weren't able to flip it to support. We broke past it again. Buyers weren't able to flip it to support. It's been a very strong resistance level here at 594. And we want to see, can SoFi ultimately flip this to support now from resistance and potentially head up higher? Now, we did have this triangle pattern forming here, and we did get a breakout. So this would also coincide a little bit with the breakout and retest of this trend line and a push up higher. Above $6.20, we have $6.46 and $6.78 as the next major resistance levels to the upside. If we take a look at our 4-hour RSI, we are approaching overbought conditions, which is 70, right? That's what this red line is. You can see here, when last time we approached those overbought conditions, we did end up seeing a pullback in SoFi, and that's happened multiple times that we've gotten near those overbought conditions on the 4-hour chart, which is why I was happy taking profits. I actually did get into this as an earnings play, and it was I was going to play it through earnings. But, when you're up nice on a play, there's nothing wrong with taking profits early and, reducing a lot of the risk, right? If SoFi does happen to collapse on earnings, which historically it does actually have a pretty good, out of its past earnings, right, over the past year or two, it's done a pretty good job of actually moving up. The stock has moved up after earnings. But, as I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with taking profit, and, I was already in profit very well on the play. So I'm happy to close before earnings, secure that profit, and reduce risk a little bit. Now, if we look at our DMI, which is down here, this is going to show you the buyers, the sellers, who's really in control. The blue line here is the average, and you can see where we're averaging out, right? And so sellers were losing control, buyers were gaining control. And today, after the large move up, buyers have taken control of the price action. So we'll see if that's going to remain consistent or if it's going to head back down, and the average is going to take back over. This would coincide more with some consolidation. As you can see here, once the average here, the blue line, tends to take over, right? You see these large periods of consolidation, which is what we got in through this range, ultimately until the buyers took control. So that's what I really see on the 4-hour chart. Those are some of the more relevant price targets to the near term and the near term price action. If we look at the weekly chart, we can take a look at the setup that we have. I mentioned before, we have this ascending triangle pattern right here currently. Now, technically, this is a bullish chart pattern, but if you wanted to, you could call this a bear flag, right? Where we have the flag pole right here, and then we're getting a pullback for this bear flag, essentially right in this area. Okay, so that is something to be considerate of. So I will go over the possible bearish scenario. If we break this trend line here, okay, 561 is going to be the next major support. And if we break that and we flip 561 to resistance, there's a good chance that price action is going to be drawn down to this $4.82 region. So, to the downside, that's what I'm looking at. If we do get a breakout above this 623 level right here, all right, on our weekly time frame, that's our resistance. All right, if we can get a breakout above there for this ascending triangle, 667, $7.01, and $7.64 are going to be my price targets to the upside, the major resistance levels that we could experience and face. Now, there's something known as bullish divergence that I want to go over really quickly. So take a look here how we had a low, and then we had these lower lows on the price of the stock, right? So clearly, the stock is in a downtrend making lower lows. But on the RSI, this measures your relative strength, all right? So it's going to be the relative strength index for your stock and show you the relative strength based on the price levels that it's currently at. So what we see here is something known as a divergence, where we're creating higher lows on the relative strength index, meaning we're building relative strength as the price action was heading lower, okay, and actually going lower in price. So that's a simple term known as bullish divergence. And we ended up getting a very strong move, okay, from below $4.50 all the way up above $8 after that bullish divergence. And if you take a look at the trend line, we tapped it 2 times over here, 3 times, got very close 4 times over here. And we're trading well above that trend line. So if we do end up breaking down towards this 561 or potentially lower than 561, a key area of interest on your weekly time frame is going to be this bullish divergence trend line. Do we bounce off of here again and use that as support? If not, and we break through here, most likely we're going to see a pretty significant drop in SOFI in the price action. So, from the weekly time frame, these are the main levels that I'm looking at. If you wanted to, it's not really the clearest and the best pattern, okay, but you could call this an inverse head and shoulders. If you take a look, we have a left shoulder here and we have a head, and then we're forming a right shoulder here right now, okay, and the neckline would be roughly something like that. Let me draw a better line real quick. Okay, so roughly, your neckline would be right around this area from these top two wicks. Okay, and we could potentially see that out. Not super clean, so I'm not focusing too much on that, but that is a potential chart pattern we have developing. Now back to the macro side of things, we've really been trading in this bearish channel since really 2021 began. All right. And you notice that we've had some false breakouts to the upside, some false breakouts to the downside, but otherwise we've been respecting this bearish channel very, very well over the past few years. And, to me, that we're in neutral territory right now. Okay. So we did approach some of the bear market targets down here, which were right around $4. You can see SoFi's all-time low is $4.24. So we did approach those levels and hit some of those bear market price targets, but for the most part, it made a lot of sense to me that SoFi would really just consolidate in this price range, really from about $4 up to $10 in current market conditions. And we experienced that really rough bear market. Right. And we did come down and hit, that first bear market price target. But for now, I think that, until things are a little bit clearer in the economy and on the macro side of things, for the most part, we're going to be ranging in between this $4 to $10 range. Now, I can't predict where exactly we're going to be at in that range. But I do think that the next bull market we experience, okay, I think it's very possible SoFi can get from $10 up to about $14. And I think that that's a nice range to look at for the next bull market. And the next time, the S&P 500 is trying to make new highs or retest its all-time highs, I wouldn't be surprised if SoFi is trading in that range. If you look, we are approaching the top of this bearish channel right here in purple. So it'll be interesting to see, do we get rejected and head back down lower, or could we potentially get a breakout retest of this bearish channel and start, heading towards some of those bull market price targets? That's something that I'm considering. Now, the next time we hit euphoria in the market, because I honestly don't think SoFi will hit all-time highs anytime soon. Those are up at $28.26. SoFi would have to go up over 400% to, go back to those levels. So I'm not really targeting those. I do think that in the next euphoria cycle, though, whenever that could be, it is very possible for SoFi to get above that $14 price range and potentially hit $24.54 or maybe even $28.11. So, that's kind of like my macro perspective is right now. I think until we get a larger picture, we're going to consolidate between $4 and $10. I know that's a really big price range, but I'm looking more on the macro scale of things. And, if this bear market continues to get worse, all right. And especially if the financial sector, being that SoFi is tied in with a lot of these financial sectors, we could see SoFi head back down towards these bear market targets at the $4 level and below. So you definitely want to keep an eye out on, what's really happening with the economy, with the banking sector, with the financial sector. If we see a lot more collapses, right? We had Silvergate, we had Silicon Valley Bank. Most recently, we're having First Republic, right? And even though First Republic is collapsing, we're actually seeing SoFi perform pretty well. So I think that that's a good sign for SoFi that people are able to separate, what SoFi has going on as a business from some of these other, regional banks, as well as even some of the larger banks, right? Schwab has also, seen a pretty dramatic drop in its price here recently, surrounding some of the financial crisis that we've had and financial disasters with some of these banks. So that's really my macro perspective. Right now we're kind of in this neutral territory overall. And if the bear market is going to worsen, right, and this bear market is going to continue, and we're going to see more collapses and financial disasters, then it's very possible SoFi heads back down towards the middle of this bearish channel. That's what this purple line is right here. You can see after we broke through that area as resistance, we've done a really good job of trending higher. It was a very strong resistance back here in 2022, and we were able to finally get above that level. And it's very possible we come back down and retest it in a bear market if this bear market gets worse, and we see the S&P 500 retest or even break its previous lows, right? But otherwise, we could break out of here, get a false breakout again, kind of similar to what we had over here, and then come back into this range. Otherwise, I think that SoFi can hit about $10 to $14 in the next bull market. Now, I just don't really have a timeline set on these things, right? More just technical analysis and seeing where things are going to develop. I can't predict when the next bull market is going to start, whether it's already started, whether we're about to see another leg down in the bear market. But I try to do my best to give you guys some different perspective than what you may be seeing online, and hopefully you enjoy that. If you do, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I do one-on-one Zoom sessions as well. If you want to do some coaching, if you want me to help you set up some of the different indicators that I use in my videos, as well as if you guys would like me to, go over my thoughts and opinions on some individual stocks, I can show you what I'm seeing from a technical analysis perspective, see if there's any possible bullish signals, any possible bearish signals, and, what you guys can potentially prepare for. So email me at zachleytrades@gmail.com if you guys are interested in that. Otherwise, I'm out, and thank you for watching.